Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.
Allow me to introduce myself. Thank you for shining with me first and foremost every week on Shine with Kendéll Lenice. I am a certified transformational life coach, speaker, author, as well as a certified financial coach. Each week I hope to elevate you, educate you, and entertain you with our various guests and various topics here on Shine with Kendéll Lenice. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to tell a friend. And now on to this week's show. Today's show is sponsored by LeniceBoutique.com. Fashion, clothes, accessories, and more. New and consignment treasures for all. It's guilt-free shopping, y'all. LeniceBoutique.com. Where quality cannot be compromised or will not be compromised no matter what type of item you're looking for. We guarantee quality. However, not all of our items are previously loved. 90% of all items are brand new with and without the tag. Everything is marked so you can clearly know what you're purchasing. Our team hand selects every item to make sure it meets your quality standard. We will not sell anything we wouldn't buy for ourselves. Shop LeniceBoutique.com. Again, guilt-free shopping. Find a gift for yourself and another for a friend. The beautiful thing about LeniceBoutique.com, prices range from $3, yes, $3, y'all, to $99. Shop LeniceBoutique.com, LeniceBoutique.com. And now on to our show. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Shine with Kendéll Lenice. All right, just was running, and now I have stopped. So I hope everyone had an amazing week this week. It's been a trying week for me. My father's memorial was on Monday, so today is Wednesday, so that's that. I talked about that on my mini episode of On My Mind. The mini episodes are 10 minutes or less after the week during, I should say, Shine with Kendéll Lenice, when it goes live, Shine, and then a couple of days after I'll have On My Mind. It's just a quick mini episode of what's on my mind for that week. So I talked about that. Let me catch my breath. I hope everyone else had an amazing week thus far. We're right in the middle of the week. If this is your first time tuning in to Shine with Kendéll Lenice, I am so super psyched that you decided to listen to Shine with Kendéll Lenice. I don't take it lightly. It means the world to me that you're taking the time to listen to my podcast. If you are a loyal listener, as a lot of you are, and I'm so grateful and so thankful, thank you for continuously tuning in to Shine. Thank you for coming back. Most importantly, thank you for telling your friends and family about this podcast. It's very crucial that you subscribe to the podcast and you share with others. A lot of people listen, but a lot of people aren't subscribed. And it's important to do that because that's how I get my sponsorships. That's how this show continues to blow up. And not for my benefit, but for the information, for the online life coaching, for my guests' powerful stories and testimonies. It's important to get that out to the masses. So do me a favor, wherever you listen to this podcast, please subscribe. All right. So with this podcast, you're going to get a little bit of everything. If this is your first time tuning in, you're going to get some laughs. You're going to get some tears. You're going to get some foolishness and some silliness. We're going to talk about love, relationships, sex, mental illness, autism, so much more, pole dancing and how that empowers people. We are going to talk about entrepreneurship, or we have. So there's so many different angles that this show takes, and I'm excited about that. And that's my whole goal with this show, because as people, we are layered human beings, right? And we just don't want to be serious all the time. We just don't want to talk about religion all the time, or politics all the time, or have serious topics about, like, as a Me Too movement, which I've had. But I want to sprinkle a little sunshine, a little joy, a little love, some lessons, some hard life lessons, and all of that good stuff, because as people, we need it all. So today's show is all about my reflection, my life in 2019. It's been a very long year. I've had extreme highs and I've had extreme lows. But before we get into the show, as always, I'm going to start with this week's life note. Are you stuck in an unhappy relationship or a dead-end job? Are you having difficulty moving to the next level in life? Are you looking for love or romance? Are you looking to achieve and accomplish your goals? Are you looking to get more clarity on your vision? Do you struggle with self-esteem? Are you looking for insight, trying to figure out what you're trying to do with your life? These are some of the things I can help you with. Hi, my name is Kendéll Lenice, and I'm a certified transformational life coach. For more information about my life coaching services, please visit livingtruelivingyou.com. Now back to the show. All right, it's time for this week's life note. All right, so this week's life note is simple. Year's end is neither an end nor a beginning, but an going on. And that's exactly what it says. I know that sounds weird. And it's by Hal Borland. Year's end is neither an end nor a beginning, but a going on, which means your life doesn't begin in the new year and it doesn't end at the end of the year. It's a continuous cycle. That's what life is about, right, y'all? It's continuously learning, growing, healing, and moving forward in one's life. So as I stated before that quick break, my reflection, my life in 2019. So long to a year and a decade. Reflection. So when we think about reflection, reflection is serious or thought consideration. Serious or thought consideration. If we look at reflection as far as light, it's also about the light that bounces off of us and that shines back on us. So what we put out, often we get back. So this year, as I stated, there has been extreme highs and lows for me. I've had amazing things happen to me and challenging things I've experienced. I've had many laughs this year, but I've also had many tears this year. I've developed and redeveloped friendships and ended unhealthy ones. I've discovered who was there to support me through the rough spots of this year, and I learned who was not there for me like I thought they would. Loyalty, honesty, vulnerability, spirituality, sanity, and the power of surrendering to life as it happens. 2019, guys, has been one of the most challenging years of my life. Do you hear what I tell you? And you guys know, if you know me or if you listen and know me through the podcast, you know I'm very positive, very upbeat. I teach that, I speak that, and that's just naturally who I am. I'm a very smiley, laughy, happy person. And I'm not saying that I wasn't in 2019, but y'all, I don't know who else out there has had a difficult, I wouldn't even say difficult, a challenging time this year, I just want you to know that you are not alone. Even someone like me, the professional of 20 years doing this type of life work, I still experience challenges. And I say that because oftentimes people think if you're in a certain type of business or you're in a certain type of spotlight, that you don't experience certain things. And I want to dispel that narrative. A lot of people out there are going through things, and it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter where you're headed. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of different things. It's to grow you. It's to build your muscle. It's to make you think more. It's to make you weed out people. It's to make you not go places. It's just really to heal you and grow you. So this year, I've had financial hardships. I had marital growth. I departed from my full-time job where I did service, helping folks of 11 years to entrepreneurship full-time to the death of my father, as I told you guys earlier. And, you know, sometimes within that year, you don't know, or I don't know, I'll speak about me, if I was coming or going. Just to know that it's only God's redirection. And that's what I have to stress to you all. Sometimes God will get you off track only to rebuild the track and to make you go down the right track, to make you see things that you might not have seen before, to make you grow, to make you just think differently, to stretch you as only God can stretch you. And sometimes that's just challenge after challenge, like, my God, are you there? And of course he is there, but sometimes you just go through it. And like I always say, everybody gets a turn. So I know I was talking to a good girlfriend of mine, and her turn, she said, was 2017 and 2018, and 2019 was great. And I know a lot of people out there probably feel the same way she did. Maybe 2018 was challenging for you. 2019, might have been challenging for you. 2010 might have been challenging for you as we're closing this decade. 2000 might have been, 2009 might have been challenging for you. Everybody gets a turn. And the thing about life is you just don't know when your turn will come. I often say, and I truly believe, that God has to test you and God has to move through you to see and to prepare you for the next level of life, whatever that is. And that's really the breaking process. So he can rebuild you better than ever, make you stronger, make you more aware, make you wiser. Even if you don't feel that within that year or day or month or week, it's still to do just that. If you believe, because I know we have all types of people out there, and some people may not believe that. They might believe something else. But no, experiences are experiences. Life is life. And sometimes I remember comedian Tracy Morgan. He was on The Breakfast Club, and I often quote this quote. And this was after his tragic accident with the Walmart tractor trailer, where he was unconscious and they didn't know if he was going to make it, and they thought he would die. And he was just talking about life and how he went through that, and it really made him a different person, a better person, a more spiritual person, a more grounded person. But he said one thing about life: it has teeth and it bites. And if that wasn't a true statement, I don't know what it was. And for all you people that have not experienced life that way, you will. And I want you to be prepared. Everything doesn't happen to everybody, but everything happens for you to learn and grow, whatever that is. And it's not about measuring what happened to who, and if yours was better than mine, bigger than mine, harder than mine, more difficult or easier than mine. It's about however you see it. because somebody might go through something and someone else might be like, that's nothing, and it's not for you to judge anybody else's life. Everybody has the capacity to hold certain things, and God doesn't put on you more than you can bear. And I often joke and say, well, doggone it, God must think I am a gorilla. He must think I have a heavy back. He must think that I have broad shoulders and a big old back, because he puts things on me. And, I always know that I'm strong. I've been strong for a very long time. But God will prove it to you time and time again. And at first, when different things happen, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, or what the heck is happening. And then you look back, you're like, I did that. Think about a time in your life where you didn't think that you were going to make it through, and you did. And then you look back now like, remember how I used to think, or remember when I thought this would happen or that would happen, and it didn't. And it did. So as a life coach and as a person, I have helped many folks overcome, take chances, switch jobs, get unstuck, lose a job, discover passions, enjoy life, in toxic relationships, shed light, let go of fear, travel more, start businesses, clean their homes, straighten up their lives, laugh more, cry more, live more, give themselves permission to just be. As a life coach, I'm proud that I help people do all of those amazing things. Through coaching others and teaching others, that within that, I've discovered and rediscovered me in many ways. Life is continuous. It's continuously work. You continuously work on thine self, and it's a never-ending process. Life is meant to be experienced without apologies. Life isn't always easy, but as long as you're still here, it is always doable. 2019 has been a year of great things as well. Not just challenging things or difficult things or sad things, or I never am a woe is me type person. I always know that there's a lesson and a blessing in it. And that takes time to really understand how life works like that. But within 2019, I was able to create and start new businesses, a new talk show, new books I created this year. I was fortunate enough to get new life coaching clients, booked new speaking engagements. I was able to see new possibilities and new outlooks and new perspectives on everything. This is truly a year of growth, and I embraced it all, even the tears and the heartbreak. I embraced this life in this year of 2019. I don't know, for some, this year might have flown by, and for some, this might have been the longest year of God's creation. Life makes you see it for what it really is. God allows you to get through, somehow with his grace and his guidance. He keeps us alive. He keeps us hopeful, and he keeps us continuing on, right? That's what life typically is about, or should be about. Just learning and growing and finding ways to be better, to be wiser and more fulfilled, like my new book, Growth, Glow, and Grace. And that's really what life is all about. 2019 might have been dusty for some. It kept you alive. You might be alive barely. You might be a little dusty, a little rusty, rough around the edges, but you came out of that debris and you're still here. As a new year and new decade approaches, old chapters must be closed and new ones must begin, starting from what's been learned and the badges that have been earned. I will say this about 2020. You watch out, because I'm coming for you, son. And so long to 2019 and all that came with that. So long to the last decade, as many great times and powerful lessons have come this way. 2020, you're up next, and God will get all of the glory. And that's how you really have to look at it. God gets all of the glory. So I'm just going to take a moment and I'll be right back. Thank you for shining with me, Kendéll Lenice. If you're here for the very first time, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the show and don't forget to tell your friends and family about Shine. We'll be right back. All right. Remember, tell those friends and family about Shine with Kendéll Lenice, because I want everybody to listen. I want everybody to subscribe. And it's important to do just that, because in 2020, I'm making this podcast visual as well. So not only will you be able to hear my voice and hear my guest's voice, you will be able to see me as well. And sometimes I might be looking right, and sometimes I might be looking wrong. It depends. It depends on how I decide to do it and where I decide to do it. I'm still working out those things as well. So just trying to figure out, like I said, exactly where I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it. But I know in January, I'm definitely going to do it. I encourage everybody to dream bigger and to think bigger and be wiser in the year to come. Take everything that you've learned this year and apply it to your life next year, your life next year. So I was reading the Business Insider, and they had 15 powerful benefits of living in the moment. And the reason why this was interesting to me, because I encourage a lot of my clients to live in the moment. And sometimes you're living in yesteryear, you're living in yesterday. And with this age of technology and social media, everybody's neck is bent up. Everybody has carpal tunnel. Fingers are hurting because everyone, people are needing glasses that didn't need glasses because everybody is in these dang phones, myself included. I'm not even going to act like I'm not part of that phone crew, because I am. But so many people go to concerts and go to shows and all of that, and don't even know what they saw, or they haven't taken the time to enjoy what it was, because either they're Instagramming it or texting it or FaceTiming somebody while they're at the show or event, that they realize that they didn't even see what they needed to see, or they're looking through their phone as they record to see what they see. So it's almost as if people are not really enjoying any moments anymore, because everybody is trying to give those moments away through social media, myself included. I'm big on Instagram and Instagram story and Facebook Live and wanting to share, because I am a sharer. I am a giver. So if I go to a show or a concert, I want you to go too. You might not have been able to get the ticket, or you might not have been able to fly here or have this experience here at this art show or this art opening, or so I like to give that to you. So on Business Insider talks about 15 powerful benefits of living in the moment. So you all agree to live in the moment in 2020, right? Yes? I don't hear you. But I don't want you to start January 1. You can start ASAP. You can plant those seeds now. You can practice now. We got a couple of weeks left, if that. Yeah, I think we have a couple of weeks left of 2019, so you can practice and get a head start. But keeping your attention in the present is very useful, and it's underrated. People don't do it anymore, as I stated. So the Business Insider says cravings become obvious and easier to overcome. So when you are living in the moment, cravings become obvious and easier to overcome. And it says, all you have to do to quit smoking is notice when you're having a craving and respond to it by doing anything other than putting a cigarette in your mouth. That is an entire goal. It's small enough to be achieved at any time. Maintain perfect self-control for the rest of your life. It works the same for everything. So they're saying if you know that you want to stop doing something, hopefully a lot of you guys aren't still smoking cigarettes. They're so bad for you. But just recognizing and knowing that you're doing it and not just allow it to be just second nature because you're always doing it. That's what it's saying. It's saying to really pay attention and live in that moment and see what you're doing. Also, they have on here, benefit of living in the moment is it takes the edge off physical pain. Let's get into that. It's the last thing you might think, but turning your awareness toward the feeling in your stubbed toe or aching stomach makes it easier to bear. If you're turning away from a sensation of pain, it gets mixed with resentment, wishing, blame, and other kinds of mental neediness. This is what makes pain into suffering. When you put your attention right onto the pain, it's remarkable. It takes the edge off. It's still pain, but you know you're handling it. I absolutely love that because that can be emotional pain too, not just pain of physical, like stubbing your toe, as it says. But if you focus on the pain, it's easier to bear. Not harp on it, but focus. Like, okay, I stubbed my toe, it hurts, and let me just focus on that. Not like, well, what would happen if I stub my toe and it's blue and it's going to fall off and I might die? To me, that's too much. And a lot of people go all the way in instead of focusing on that. So I love that. Also, living in the moments, working out gets a lot easier. All right. Because I know a lot of you have the resolutions, which I can't stand. Everybody wants to lose weight, get healthy. How many times have you had that at the end of every year and the beginning of every new one? I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to go to the gym. And then the gyms are crowded as I don't know what in January, and come February, crickets. Ain't nobody in there. So I've already started. I'm not going to wait until next year. I've already started trying to clean my liver out. I definitely watch what I eat. I'm a pescatarian. I want to try to eat more raw food. I don't eat a lot of processed food, but I don't want to eat any. I definitely want to be here. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Although I am not an old woman, I don't think I'll ever be an old woman, even when I'm an old woman. I refuse that because I'm too young at heart. And people say I don't look my age, and I never want to get to that point where people guess my age. I'm 48 now. People think that I'm 35, 36, 37. But I never want to get to that point where people will say, how old are you? 49? I'm like, yeah. So I definitely want to get my life together, and hopefully you do too. So let's talk about working out. Working out gets a lot easier. Your workout might sometimes seem like a big, long, grueling thing, but that's only when you're thinking about it. When you're actually doing it, you're never required to do more than a single moment's action. Very true. You would never have to actually do a whole workout at all, or even a set. And in fact, you can't. At no point do you have to do any more than complete the current rep. Keep your mind there. I love that. So they're saying, if you're going through, so all you workout folks know, or if you're just beginning in the gym, or you've done a boot camp, shout out to Will Fit, because I've done that. But you go by reps. So you might have 5 reps for those that don't know. So you might have 5 reps of 60. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, all the way to 60. That's one. Then you have another rep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 60. Then you rest. Then you might have another one to 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you rest. You get what I'm saying? So those are reps. But if you focus on just one rep at a time, then it doesn't seem like a big to-do, a big workout. I don't want to be here an hour or two, or, I want to do that. So, but if you, and that's how I do as a certified financial coach when I'm coaching people about money and about bills and debt and paying them off, money management. You don't look at it as you owe $60,000. You look at each bill separately, each pot of money separately, and then you're knocking it down piece by piece by piece. So if you're looking at $60,000 in debt, right, you're going to look at the smallest debt, and that might be just $500. You knock that out. Then you go to the next debt, and it's $1,000 or $1,500. You knock that out. You get what I'm saying? Then you go and you gradually move up. If you look at the whole debt of $60,000, you're going to be like, I owe $60,000. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Little by little, that's how you're going to do it. Bite-sized pieces. So I think that's great when it comes to working out as well. Number 4, big projects, stop being scary. For the same reason that you can't actually do a whole workout, you can't actually do a whole project. All projects consist of single actions, most of which are no tougher than dialing a phone, explaining something to someone, Googling someone's contact information, or sketching up a model. Once you have a plan, it's easy to make progress if you stay zoomed in on the requirements of the moment and only zoom out in order to figure out what they are. I love that. Number 5 of the 15 powerful benefits of living in the moment. Food tastes better and you eat less of it. I'll say that again. Food tastes better and you eat less of it, right? That's what you want to do. So trying to pay attention to all the sensations of eating a bite of food. Put your fork down between bites to remind you. For most people, this is much more intimate and involved eating experience than they're used to. It takes longer. It tastes better. And for some reason, you become satisfied sooner. It also is easier to negotiate that moment when you decide to stop eating because you're not already leaning mentally towards the next bite. I've heard that before, and that's so true. Because think about when you eat. Do you ever put your fork down? I know when I eat, I don't put my fork down between bites. I hold my fork pretty much the whole time. When I think about it, I hold my fork and I chew my food. Wait a minute. Make sure I digest it. Maybe get some water. Maybe not. And then I go back in with my fork. But I never put my fork down. So I guess they're talking about chew a little bit, put your fork down. Maybe just sit back, rub your belly, have a conversation with the person next to you if somebody is there, and then pick it up again. Like they said, it does take longer, but the food tastes better because you're really savoring it. You're living in the moment. You're not eating just to go. My oldest daughter, I remember when I nursed her, for all you ladies and gentlemen out there, not just for us, you need to know this too. But when you're trying to get the milk to come down and really, be there for the baby to eat it, you have to eat. You have to nourish yourself. You have to drink water. And then that makes the milk come down easier. Well, I learned to eat fast because if you have a crying baby and you're nursing her and she's not taking a bottle, then you have to eat real quick. Drink water real quick. And then nurse the baby. So I had been accustomed to eating so fast. I know I wasn't living in the moment with my food because I was eating it for a purpose. And now I eat it to taste the different spices and the different the styles of cooking, whether you taste that grilled taste or that broiled taste or that charcoal taste. So I can definitely see that. I need some water right now, as a matter of fact. You guys know if you don't do podcasts or you don't talk, I'm really just talking to you. I'm not looking at you. So I'm just continuously talking to you, looking at my screen, looking at my my whole setup here. So number 6, it's easier to get better at musical instruments, sports skills, and pretty much everything else. Developing the habit of paying attention to how you're fretting this guitar string right now is going to improve your playing much more quickly than accomplishing your goal of running scales for an hour every day for a month. Improvements in physical skills are usually subtle changes in the feel of doing the skill. You notice these differences when you're observing your body in the moment, and miss them when you're occupied with quotas and systems, concepts, and theories. Very true. You're focusing on each thing you learn, and then you're moving forward. Number 7 is the world gets a playground sort of feel again. I can see that. I know where this is going. You had this all the time when you were a kid. As we become adults, we learn to live less and less in the world and more in our thoughts about the world. When you come back to the present moment, your jumble of thoughts about your life situation shrinks in significance, and the place where you actually are regains its rightful uniqueness. This makes every scene more interesting because you're getting your information about it from what it actually is right now, rather than from the rapid fire associations your mind makes mistakes. But that's very, very true. So I always say that people, when you were a child, you really lived in the moment and you appreciated the small things and the small sacrifices and the little details of things. But when adults play, they don't really play. They're focusing on the next thing and not really living in that moment. All right. So 8, you can figure out what's bothering you very easily. As a life coach, I want to hear this, don't y'all? When you maintain a state of presence, the introduction of unease is really conspicuous. This makes it pretty easy to identify the thought that set you off. If you notice that the pit in your stomach appeared the moment somebody said the words exam week, it's a lot easier to interpret the feelings as a normal passing reaction and not lapse into a snowball way of thinking that leaves your whole life looking suddenly bleak. And number 9, you find yourself doing things in smarter ways without thinking about it. Everybody wants to do that, right? When I'm being mindful, I find I'm inclined to hang up my pants instead of dropping them on the floor. It takes virtually the same effort, which is true, but only creates a life of clothes on the floor, and one creates a life of tidiness and self-respect. This is one of the most rewarding parts of mindfulness habit. An uncanny real-time sense of wise things to do. I say it all the time. If you're eating something in the room, which I really don't care for too tough, and I've learned to try to accept that when you get married and some people do things that you don't do, you're like, okay. But then I say, take the plate directly in the kitchen. Don't leave it in the room because it takes the same amount of time to do just that, right? Or is it just me? Because nobody wants any bugs around here, right? All right. So 10, they have, you stop fidgeting and nail biting and notice why you do it. I want to get through all of them. And then 11, you become less attracted to passive entertainment like TV. So one of the big draws of television is that it's an effective way of giving you a break from your thoughts at the end of the day, right? A mindfulness, there's that mindfulness again, and I talk about that all the time as far as meditation, mindful meditation, and just being mindful of what you're doing. That's a great way to live in the moment. But a mindfulness habit gives you frequent breaks from your thoughts throughout the day. And so you no longer need TV and as a therapeutic device. You're already unwound by the time you get there. It can still be entertaining, but your standards for what you watch will rise. That is so very true, because I'm very selective on what I watch and what I pour into myself and what I think about. Because when you watch certain things, you think about those things often, and they're in your mind and embedded in your mind. But it'll give you more of a mindful and a purposeness of what type of entertainment you watch or subject yourself to. See if I have time. Okay. So I'll just read them. 12 is deadlines, debts, and obligations don't hang over everything else you do, because you're living in that moment and you're paying attention to what you want to pay attention to. And number 13, your face disappears, taking self-consciousness, with it. My mouth is getting dry. All right. And number 14 is meeting other people's triggers. I'm going to read that. I'm going to give you the list just in case I don't get a chance to read it. But meeting other people triggers fewer feelings of inferiority and superiority. Number 15, you become better at sex. So let's read that. Nobody has ever woed. I don't even have time. So I'm just trying to get through the meat of it. Keep your attention on real-time physical and emotional sensations, and you crowd out. Trains of thought concerning body images, performance histories, breakfast possibilities in the name of your ex. Presence is sexy. That's not going to give you the whole thing. I'm running out of time, so I'm trying to do that. But if you want to go look at this list yourself, it's thebusinessinsider.com. And the list is all about 15 powerful benefits of living in the moment. So I read them all, but you can go back and read the details of everything, because we're running out of time. So thank you for tuning in. To everyone, I wish you a happy, whole, prosperous, enjoyable new year. Remember, it's never too late to remix your life. All right, y'all. So this may be one of the last shows of 2019. I will be going live at an event this Saturday. So the podcast, I'll have another episode after this. It'll be a live event all about supporting foster kids. Like, that's amazing, right? And I'll shout out to LaShawna Wright, who is doing an amazing job. She was a guest on a show talking about foster children. So go back and listen to that. But I will be at her event with the podcast live this Saturday. I'm not sure of the time, but you can always go back where you listen to your podcast and listen to it. And I'll also have a mini episode. I do mini episodes, as I stated in the beginning, called On My Mind, and I'm telling you what's on my mind that week. And then next Wednesday, is Christmas. So I will be back at you in 2020, a new year and a new decade. So I'll see all of you in 2020. Remember, you're a star, so don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Peace and God bless. And remember to start planting those seeds today so they can flourish tomorrow. Don't wait until 2020 to start working on your goals and your dreams and what you're going to quit and what you're going to keep in your life. And I'm going to keep this toxic relationship just until 2020. Then when 2020 comes, I'm leaving him or her. No, start today so you can be refreshed. After all, it's not only just a new year, it is a new decade. I want to thank you humbly for supporting Shine with Kendéll Lenice and everything that I do. For more information about me, visit livingtruelivingyou.com or ladymotivator.com. Also, check out leniceboutique.com for your last minute gifts and your attire for the new year. I hope everyone has a happy and healthy New Year's Eve. Be safe, and I'll see you on the other side. God bless.
Shine with Kendéll Lenice. Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.